Hey everyone, it's Jason. We are going to do an unboxing for Marvel Legendary's Venom. It's our Pink Account Red Spider-Man set, the movie universe Homecoming Spider-Man set, plus other Spider-Man characters from throughout various sets, Spider-Man Noir, Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen. So now we actually get some more Venoms, and symbiote creatures. So as you can see on the box here, this is focusing on like 90s era Venom, and the various symbiotes from Separation Anxiety. Excuse me. But also the other half of it is the more current storyline of Venomverse. So if you're not familiar with that, you know what Spider-Verse is, or you've seen the end of the Spider-Verse series, where Spider-Man goes to these alternate realities, gets Spider-Man to help him. Similar concept with Venomverse. Similar to the fact there's a bunch of different characters all possessed by various Venom symbiotes, or symbiotes. And so we have the Venomverse team trait. So we'll go through all them. But let's look at our new tiers. I'm not going to really look through who they are. We just want to get right into the keywords here. Focus. Focus where I can see all of it, camera. Alright. Symbiote Bond represents how symbiotes, like some of these characters, embrace them with a dark shell. So some villains say something like ambush, a henchman from your victory pile, symbiote bonds with Lasher. This means stack that card onto the specified villain, combining them to a single villain with both cards' strength and text added together. To fight a combined villain, you must spend all the total attack of both villain cards combined, rescue all bystanders of that combined villain had, then put either one of the villain cards from the combined villain in your victory pile and do that fight. The other card stays in that city space and you do not do its fight effect. So basically, these guys come out, they attach to someone. The symbiote attaches to a random other villain. When you beat them, you can either choose to have beaten the regular character or beat the symbiote. Whichever one you beat, you get to do their fight effects and you get to take them. Whichever one stays, you have to fight again. But if they combine, if they escape, it's only considered one villain. Symbiote bonds never combine with more than two villains in the same city space. Did I miss something there? Alright, if a symbiote ability puts a new villain card into the city from the villain deck, escape pile, blah blah, doing ambush ability on the newly entering card. However, that ambush ability won't be able to break up combined villains or add a third card to it. So you can only have two cards together, so you can't have like a super symbiote hybrid of like 6 cards. Okay. Next new thing, we have the poison villains. So, poison villains use symbiote bonds as a special way. For example, Poison Dr. Octopus says, fight this symbiote bonds with a villain in the bank. If it's already bonded with somebody else or unable to bond, gain this as a hero instead. So it enters as a normal villain, you fight him. If there's a villain in the bank, then he will bond him. If there's no villain, you gain him as a hero instead. Once he becomes bonded, if you fight the combined villain, you must choose one of the two villains and do its fight effect. If you choose Dr. Octopus first, since he's currently bonded, you gain him as a hero. So basically, these villains you would definitely want to take first, Because if you took the other character first and got its effect, then this guy's still sitting there. Then the next time you fight him, he's going to bond with somebody else. Then we have Digest. This grizzly word represents how Venom and Carnage symbiotes get stronger as they eat people. That's some glare there. Some heroes say things like Digest to draw a card. Use this Digest ability only if you have at least that many cards in your victory pile. All kinds of cards in your victory pile count as Digest, includes henchmen, villains, regular villains, bystanders, mastermind tactics, traps from other sets, etc. You don't have to use any cards, so even if you have 10 cards in your victory pile to use Digest 2, you just use it once. So you only get it once as long as you reach the goal. So it's sort of like Captain America set with Savior. Once you have that number of so many cards in your pile, it's automatically going to kick off. Then we have Indigestion. Sometimes you don't have enough cards in your victory pile to use a Digest ability. Use its Indigestion ability instead. For example, let's say Digest 4, do 2 cards. If you didn't have 4 in your victory pile, Indigestion, you gain 2 stars. So you play this card, if you have at least 4, use Digest. Draw 2 cards. If you have 0 to 3 cards, use Indigestion instead. If you have enough cards in your victory, you cannot choose to use the Indigestion ability. And then we also have a returning keyword from the Deadpool set, Excessive Violence. Some heroes say Excessive Violence, draw a card. Once per turn, you can spend 1 attack more than you need to fight a villain or mastermind. Using the Excessive Violence, if you do, you get all the Excessive Violence abilities on the cards you've played this turn. So if you've played 3 heroes with Excessive Violence, you spend 8 to beat someone who has attack of 7, you get to use all 3 abilities. If you don't fight anything on this turn, or don't spend the extra 1 on someone, you won't be able to use them. Since you can only use Excessive Violence once per turn, you can only use the Excessive Violence ability once per turn. So you can't, so if you fight using Excessive Violence and then draw or play 1 more cards, it won't be able to use it. So basically, if I play cards that have Excessive Violence, and I attack something with 1 extra attack, I gain any effects of cards I currently have that say Excessive Violence, but I can't do, if I draw cards later, I can't use that ability after the fact. If I have 7 attack, and I can't Excessive Violence and use 5 extra attack to gain them 5 times. You only need 1 extra attack to do any ability that you have. Alright, so that is our various abilities. Let's look at who we got. If I can figure out how to open this. You gotta quit changing how they make these open. Some have that little specially tabbed thing that lets you tear. Some you don't. This one has one, but I don't see where it tears off at. Alright, who are we starting with? Probably Venom, because that is the main character in our set. That is our title character. So this Venom has the Venomverse set. So of course it does. I believe every character in this set does. I could be wrong. So Digest 3. So if you have 3 cards in your victory pile, you gain 2 attack. If you don't, you gain 2 star. So early on you'll gain your stars, and then it switches over eventually to being attack. That's kind of a neat idea. But if you play another instant, you can do both. So that's actually cool, that you get to have both abilities. So, Devouring Drool. He also has Razor Teeth. He has Excessive Violence, you get extra 2 stars. So far Venom's kind of an even character, because he gains... His first card lets him gain 2 attack and 2 stars, so this gains him 2 strength, potentially 2 stars. So it's kind of like middle of the road character. Symbiotic Adaptation. Choose one. You get +1 star for each other card you play with a star icon. Again, these are star icons regardless if there's a number in there or not. Or you gain +1 attack for each other card you played with an attack card this turn. Okay, so it works really well with his other cards. Plus his instinct works with the first card. So he can gain very well. And then he has his last one also has that. Here's another instinct card. Insatiable Hunger. Digest 8. So this is probably not going to hit till very late in the game. But KO a card from your victory pile, which makes your digest go down. You get 6 attack. Indigestion, KO a card from your hand or discard pile, you get 6 attack. If you have 2 Venomverse characters, you do both. So Venom's like a middle of the road character. You can gain attacking stars depending on how you play him. I like that. He could definitely be slotted into other decks. Now we have Carnage. Rendering Claws. So he's also a Venomverse character. Excessive Violence. You draw a card. And he starts with 2 attack. Of course, he's going to have lots of excessive violence. He's Carnage. Carnivore. Digestion 4. Draw 2 cards. Indigestion, you get 2 stars instead. So that'd be helpful. Let you buy more cards. So he's got Instinct, Strength, and now a Covert. Gruesome Feast. Excessive Violence. Reveal the top card of your deck. You may KO it. So you get sort of cards for you. But only if you have the excessive violence. So 3 of his cards have excessive violence. Which definitely makes sense for a guy called Carnage. Feast or Famine. Excessive Violence. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it costs 0, KO it, and you may repeat this process. That's cool. So he gets rid of his, basically gets rid of his weaknesses to become more strong. Alright, so now we're getting into the other cool Venomverse characters. We have Venom Rocket. So now we have our second Rocket Raccoon card. The Ancient Guardians of the Galaxy. So Hunger for Action. He has Digest, Hunger for Action, and a Thirst for Vengeance. He has Digest 3. You may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. 2 attack. I always like getting the discard first, then draw. Because you're like, what crappy card do I want to get rid of? Spring the Trap. Tech card. If a Master Strike or villain has an ambush ability as played this turn, you get 1 attack. Okay. Interesting. Not a huge fan of cards that rely on drawing certain things like that. Serious Overkill. So he has 3 different colors so far. Excessive Violence, though. You may KO a card from your hand or discard pile. So all his attacks so far only have 2. He's not a super strong character until he says Ultimate Survivor. 5 attack. When a Master Strike is played before it takes effect, you may put Ultimate Survivor from your hand on top of your deck. If you do, you may move any card from the HQ to your hand. So that could definitely be cool, but it's only if a Master Strike. And there's only 5, and you have to hope you don't draw a bunch before you get this card. So that's kind of here or there. I feel like some of these ultimate cards, they should almost, they're rare cards, there's only 1. You know, that means there's only, if you're playing 5 characters, I mean, there's 5 of these cards in a 70 card deck. I almost feel like you should keep them set aside, and then be like, at any point, one player can buy them and basically be like, I'm Rocket, or I'm this, you know, something like that. Like, one player can only buy 1 of those cards instead of anyone be able to monopolize them. But then that way, you're not trying to hope to get them. Because sometimes they just either get out early and they just sit there and clog up your HQ, or you never find them, or by the time you find them, you're like, do I really need to buy this 8-cost card? I'm doing pretty well, you know. Anywho, we have Venomized Doctor Strange. It's kind of funny that we have Venom Rocket, but then he's Venomized Doctor Strange, why they gave him a different name. But this gives us another Doctor Strange card to play as. Technically, it would be the third one, because there's the Illuminati one from Secret Wars. And then there's also Dr. Punisher. When he's possessing the Punisher from Secret Wars. Cauldron of the Cosmos. Digest 2, draw a card. So in the storyline, he's the one summoning all these other superhero Venoms to try and help stop the poisons. See future timelines. Play a range card. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it costs 0, discard it and you gain 2 attack. Okay. Helps you clean out some of them weak cards for extra attack. I like it. That's just a neat costume too for him. Complete the Krang Ritual. If you play a 4-cost and a 2-cost card on this turn, you get +2. So his other 2 cards are 4 and 2. That's neat. That could be hard to get though for the extra 2 attack. Just saying. I mean, you can definitely do it, but I think it's be more random than purposeful. So his ultimate card is the Crystal of Cadavus. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Draw 1, discard 1, KO 1. Play 2 Venom characters. Do this again. Yeah, that could help you get rid of some weak cards and perform a really strong hand. Alright, and our last hero is Venom Pool. So we have Venom, Venom Pool, Venom Rocket, and Venomized Doctor Doom. So maybe they just gave them all different names so they all stand out different. So it's not just Venom, this character, Venom, that character. Digest that chimichanga. Digestion 2, you gain 2 attack. Indigestion, quote unquote, rescue a bystander. It's kind of funny. If you play a strength card, you get to do both instead. And then we have Shenanigans. Draw 2 cards if you can't draw any more, but you can't draw any more cards until the end of turn. So it's a cheap way to draw 2 cards, but you can't play anymore. I mean, some of those turns can just take forever. That's funny. That's an interesting card, definitely. Can I get a little gratitude? Whenever you rescue a bystander this turn, do any rescue abilities on it in extra turns. Okay, so if you're playing with like special characters, you gain extra effects. And then it sets the button, rescue a bystander. So he has 3 attack. It's weird that Deadpool is all about rescuing people. Especially in a Venom set. Plague of the Crowd. Digestion 7, you get +1 for each 2 bystanders in your victory pile, but that's why he rescues them all. Indigestion, rescue 2 bystanders. Instead, do both in order. So you only gain 1 for each 2 bystanders in the victory pile. Then after you gain the attack, you gain 2 more. So then next time you play it, it would be even more powerful. I almost want to play this Venom Deadpool, with some of the Captain America cards, the Savior ability. Just be able to rescue guys that quick. Alright, let's look at some villains and some masterminds. Sort out my mastermind. I always put the villains first. I like to look at the masterminds beforehand. Alright. So our first mastermind, this is Hybrid. If you fight Hybrid while he's bonded to a villain, defeat that villain and rescue 3 bystanders instead of taking a tactic. So if he gets bonded to something, you have to just defeat something first and then take him out. He has the Life Foundation. Master Strike, a villain from in the city, bonds with Hybrid. If Hybrid is already bonded, then each player gains a wound. So he steals someone basically as a shield. He also has an epic mastermind side, so he goes from 6 attack to 8. If you defeat all his bondage, rescue 3 Visor, that's the same. Master Strike, the highest attack unbonded villain in the city and or escape pile symbiote bonds with Hybrid. No new bond could occur, then each player gains a wound. So instead of just a villain in the city bonds with him, it's whoever has the highest attack from the city or escape pile. So that could definitely make him a lot harder to take out. Alien Awakening. Alien Awakening. Fight. This is not the final tactic. A henchman villain from the victory pile symbiote bonds with Hybrid. The only upside to some of these cards would be is that he can't bond more than once. But if he bonds for every tactic, then you have to defeat that villain, then fight him again, then he's going to bond to something. So basically you have to defeat a powerful version, weaker version, get a tactic started over. So this guy could take a little bit of challenge, even though there's only 6. If this is not the final tactic, a villain from the city, or escape pile, symbiote bonds with Hybrid. And that was called the Escaped Monstrosity. So Life Foundation Research. You get +1 for each Life Foundation villain in your victory pile. And Symbiotic Call. If this is not the final tactic, reveal the top 4 cards of the villain deck. A henchman villain you revealed, symbiote bonds with Hybrid. Put the rest back in any order. Alright, so let's see what his villains are. What is the Life Foundation? These are your separation anxiety, but Venom's children. The symbiotes. We have Riot. Ambush. Reveal the top card of the villain deck. If it's a villain, symbiote bond with him. KO 2 of heroes. So there's only 2 normally, but he bonds with whoever. So these symbiote bond cards, you're playing against some really difficult characters who have high attacks. They could definitely be a challenge. We have Lasher. Henchman villain from your victory pile bonds with Lasher. At least they start with 2, so they're not super hard on their own. Phage, a villain from the escape pile or victory pile bonds with Phage. We have Agony. Ambush, reveal the top 3 cards of the villain deck. A villain you reveal symbiote bonds with Agony. Put the rest back in any order. If she escapes, reveal a covert hero or gain a wound. And then we have Scream. Reveal the top card of the villain deck. If it's a henchman or Life Foundation villain, it bonds with Scream. And then Dr. Carlton Drake. Fight. Each instant and text hero currently in the HQ costs 1 less this turn. So he's the only guy that's not a symbiote, but he's also one of the strongest base attacks of that, which is 5, which isn't super terrible. The other one we have is Poison Thanos, who has 12 attack instead of the 24 that the normal Thanos has. But I don't think that's going to make him any less of a threat. Poison Thanos gets 1 attack for each different cost among the cards in his Poison Soul pile. He leads the poisons. Master Strike, each player reveals their hand and puts one of their non-gray heroes next to Thanos in the Poison Soul pile. So, what the poisons are, there's these little white guys here. They bond with symbiotes, and then they form like this carapace around them. But basically, they then consume the symbiote to take over the host that the symbiote was controlling. So, like, basically, a symbiote grafted onto Thanos, then a poison took over, but then they're all like a hive mind, and they're all like, no, life is good, being a poison's better, because it slowly eliminates the personality and individualism of each of the poisons. So they're really bad. His epic version, so he gains +2 for each one instead of +1. It also goes from 12 to 13. Also, each player reveals their hand, puts half of their non-gray heroes next to Thanos. Each player that lost no heroes this way gains a wound. So before it was they reveal and put 1. His epic version, they reveal their hand and put half, rounded up. So that could definitely suck. Searing poisons. Each other player discards a poison card from their hand or gains a wound. So find out later how we get poison cards in our hand. Well, we already know, but we'll see that. Poisoned loyalties. Each other player puts poison card from their discard pile into Thanos' poison soul pile, so that helps him get stronger. You may gain a hero from poisoning Thanos' poisoned souls pile. Desperate rescue. And the poison souls has to do with he has the desperate souls or something like that. The original ones is a callback to his original card. In Soul Seized, put all heroes that cost 5 or more from the HQ into his poison souls pile. Boy, he could get strong really quick. The other Thanos started strong but got weaker if you had Infinity Stones. This one starts weaker but gets stronger the more poisons that come out. So we have a Poison Spider-Man. So he has the Venomverse hero. So when you beat them, fight this symbiote bonds with another villain in the city. If he's already bonded or unable to bond, you gain this hero instead. So you have to beat him, either when he's bonded with someone or if there's no one he can bond to. So if he's the only character, great, or if everyone else is bonded, then you're fine when you gain them. So you gain him, he's a 2 cost. You're the top 2 cards of your deck. If it costs 2 less, draw it. So it's a typical Spider-Man ability. We have Poison Dr. Octopus, who has Spike him, bonds with a villain in the bank. So he specifically chooses the bank. Spider-Man, just anyone in the city. But he has 1 attack and you get to draw a card. We have a Poison Scarlet Witch with another villain of the city with an odd number attack. So again, that's kind of like, it's not just always any character, so they sometimes could just get lucky and not have that card. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it has an odd number, draw it. Cost to draw it. 0 is even. We have Poison Storm, which I like to have some of the other characters, I think just Spider-Man characters. We have an X-Men. Bonds with the villain out of the rooftops or bridge. If you played another ranged, gain +2, usable only against the Mastermind. So lots of times they look like they're other cards. We have a Poison Sabretooth. I love Sabretooth. I want more Sabretooth. I want actual proper Sabretooth card, not the villain's version. Fight a villain in the streets to bond with. Instant, which is the top card of your deck, you may KO it. We have Poison's Captain America. Yes, they got Cap. During the storyline, you actually see him get captured. He was one of the Venomized characters for a while. Bonds with another villain in the city. Gains +1 for each colored hero you have, including Instinct and Gray. So he works, again, like Captain America's. We have the big old Poison Hulk. I love when villain sets have all different characters. Like the symbiote bonds with a henchman in the villain. It's kind of funny. Hulk only goes for the henchmen, so he goes for the weaker characters. 2 strength if you get +2 strength. And then finally we have Symbiotic Armor. So the only one that's not a hero. It says Ambush. This villain bonds with the Mastermind. When you fight the Mastermind, defeat Symbiotic Armor and KO one of your heroes instead of taking a tactic. So ambush. So when he comes out, he automatically goes to the mastermind. Just gains him +1. When you fight the mastermind, defeat Symbiotic Armor. And then KO one of your heroes instead of taking a tactic. Interesting. Alright, so that is our thing. So that's another villain set that can become heroes, along with I think X-Men 92. Most of those are, like Professor X can't. And the Avengers, the Ultimate Avengers is the other one, and then the Henchman Thor. There's only a couple of characters that are like all of them can, like like couple like 1-2 characters here and there, but invasion of the Venom symbiotes. Alright, add an extra henchman to the group. Twist. This twist enters the city as a 3 as a 3 attack symbiote, villain worth 3. If ambush, this bonds to another villain in the city. Play another card from the villain deck. Ooh, I hate those twists. Where they do something bad, but then you also play another card. So then it's not even like, woo, I drew a steam twist. At least I didn't get pushed. Because this isn't gonna care. When the villain has 3 cards per player or the villain deck runs out. Alright, so it's a fairly simple one. We have Maximum Carnage. Play this with the Paint the Town Red set. Wound stacks has 6 wounds. Stack this quick next to the steam. If the streets are empty, put a bystander there as if it were a possessed psychotic villain. If the streets weren't empty, each player gains a wound. Possessed psychotic villains have attack equal to the number of twists next to the steam. When you fight one, rescue a bystander. When there are 6 bystanders in a state pile or the wound runs out. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't know why it's Maximum Carnage. I guess I don't remember from that series there being a bunch of possessed psychotics. Outside of Cletus Cassidy, but I might be mistaken. Paralyzing Venom. All bystanders are also biochemists. Each player KOs a biochemist from their victory pile or discards down to 4 cards in their hand. I kind of wonder why they specify them as biochemists if they're all going to be the same. They could have just said each player KOs a bystander from their victory pile. Unless they also gain the abilities of the biochemist. Special bystander? I don't know. It seems like a fairly simple one to figure out. I'll probably be playing against that one because it's one of the few that doesn't add an extra thing to the deck. Symbiotic Absorption. 11 twist. Set aside a second drained mastermind and its 4 tactics out of play. Add its always lead villains as an extra group. Interesting. Twist 1 through 4. Shuffle one of the drained mastermind tactics into the main mastermind tactics. 8, 9, and 10. Or 8, 9, and 10. 6, 8, and 10. Learn how to read. So not 7, not 5 or 7 for some reason. The mastermind uses this twist to copy the master strike of the drained mastermind. 11 evil wings. Special, if the tactics or master strikes mentioned the drained mastermind, use the main mastermind instead. Okay, so that's interesting. I just see if they had any like sometimes they put like extra rules on there, like, oh, that did this. So that's the Venom set. Yeah, that's some pretty interesting, neat cards. The symbiotic villain thing, like combining the people, making them stronger. It's kind of a neat idea. They pull from the decks. They pull usually from like the villain pile, but if they pull some from the city, at least it makes the city less likely to collapse. But it also means you have to fight guys more and more, so it could make for a little bit longer game. And the Venom characters being able to game the symbiotes, or the poisons, that's kind of cool. Yeah, so if you like Venom, definitely check it out. If you want some of them other oddball characters, like, another Deadpool, or Doctor Strange, or a different Rocket, or if you're a huge Carnage fan, which some people are, go ahead and grab this. Yeah. Check you guys later. Bye.